I just got one more, which is, people often say government's place isn't to get involved in the economy. You should sort of just set the rules and step back. I mean, it seems like this idea of when you're the one setting up the money, when you're the one essentially putting the electrical power in, you can't have that system. You can't just sort of set it up and step back without taking some active.
Okay, so government has to provision itself. And everybody, even the libertarians, will say you need a legal system, you need military, you need some basic things. Right? So how does government provision itself? Well, in the old days, you just conquer somebody and take slaves, and then you'd have them do all the public works, right? And then the British were a little more sophisticated. You'd wake up in the British Navy with a big lump in your head because they hit you over the head last night in a bar when you were drinking, pressed you into the Navy. Okay, that's another way to provision the public sector. We pretend to be more civilized. We have the monetary system. So what we did, like Stephanie did, was we impose a tax on everybody in something they don't have. And with the penalty, if you don't pay your tax, right? And then how do you get the money to pay the tax? Well, you got to come work for the government. So we use the monetary system by first imposing a tax for the purpose of moving resources into the public sector. So we impose a tax, and then we give people a way to earn the money to pay the tax. We hire them into the public sector. So the first thing the tax does is causes unemployment. There is no unemployment in this room right now. But if I take out, I like to use my business cards, and I say, okay, see this card, this is my business card. Does anybody want to buy one for $100? No. Does anybody want to stay and work in the public sector here and clean up this carpet afterwards? I'll give you one of these. No. But this is just a piece of paper. But then I say, oh, there's a guy at the door who works for me. He's got a 9mm. You cannot get out of here without one of these cards. Right. Now you are all unemployed. You weren't unemployed before. You weren't looking for a job that paid. Unemployment is looking for a job that paid in my cards. You were not unemployed. But now you are looking for a job to earn these cards because you need them to pay the tax to get out of the room. So the first thing the tax does is create unemployment. And then the government hires everybody to do the job it wanted. It hires all the unemployed that it created with its tax. So what sense does it make to unemploy more people than you need to hire? It doesn't. The tax should never unemploy more people than you want to hire. And so here's government using the monetary system to provision itself. It's only provisioning itself to the extent that the politics wanted provision. This many soldiers, this many, legal system, whatever. Build the roads, build the schools, don't build the schools, private schools, public schools. Figure it out. Figure out how the politicians want the government, the political process, what size government you want, and then you impose a tax to unemploy the amount of people that you want to provision that government and no more. And that'll invariably be a tax that's smaller than the spending. You're invariably going to be able to tax less than you want to spend because there's a need to save, particularly when you legislate pension funds tax advantages for not spending your income.